fire our torch up, and we're going to bring this baby up to about 400 degrees. The key is to get the whole thing evenly heated. So we just kind of come around all angles and just warm the whole thing up, including the shaft, the protector shaft, because that heat will suck, or the shaft will suck the heat out of it as we go. There we go. Just give it a little bit more. That shaft isn't quite hot enough yet. There we go. Let that heat soak just a little bit. Well, ready to go here. Turn on the gas. Turn on the power. Let's check this thing for temperature once again. Make sure we're still good. Oh yeah. We're good. So, we still got a rotation here. Yes, we do. And we can do that. We're going to make a nice clean pass all the way around the interior of this. And oops, let's make sure we've got enough temperature. Yep, looks nice and hot. Okay, here goes. That's pretty much a done deal. Now what happened was as soon as this thing really heated up, it seized on the shaft, so I wasn't able to turn it. I didn't have that shaft loose enough. But I think once it calms down and cools down, and we're just going to let it cool on its own here, then we'll be able to get it'll come loose. So the way that I'm not going to be able to grab it and indicate this surface right here and get an accurate indication to square up the interior hole. So what I'm going to do on this baby and put it between centers on the lathe, and between centers is I come in with a center drill that has this little angle on it here that matches with one of my centers. And so then I put a center on this end of the lathe, and I put a center on the chuck end of the lathe, and then I have an accurate center that I can work from, and I'll put this shaft in between those two centers, and what'll happen is then I'll turn the shaft down, I'll have a really accurate, very square surface, and then I'll slide that pulley on there and hook the dog up to the chuck, and the dog will hit right about there, and then I'll be able to turn that surface knowing that everything is very accurate. So let's go ahead. I've already drilled my holes on both ends, and now I'm going to set my center up on the chuck end, and what I have to do is I have to put a little chunk of metal in there with a point on it, and then recut the point so that it's accurate with what the chuck, how the chuck is holding it at the moment, and then go ahead and put my rod in between that. So there's my little stub with the 60 degrees on it. So I'll just put that in the chuck, tighten her down, and if we crank it up, you'll see that thing's wobbling all over the place. So we need to come in and clean that up. And the way to do that is to rotate my head around, or my crossbeam around, rotate my compound around until it is at 60 degrees. Let's just go ahead and rotate that. We'll put it at 60. And in this case it will be 30 degrees, I believe. Tighten it up. Reset my head. And bring it in. And all we're going to do is just clean up that edge a little bit. You can see it bouncing around like a champ. There we go. Let's get this thing back where we can work with it. I think I'm going to speed everything up a little bit here. There we go. So just doing a skip cut at the moment. Take it all the way back. Because every time I put it in, it's got to be different. There we go. I think this might be our final cut, so I'm going to go real slow and make it fairly accurate. bring it back. Well, as I'm looking, I can see that you didn't see a whole lot of that. But know that the very, very tip is really clean, real accurate. And now we can back the carriage up, cross feed up. And drop our slug in. Oops. Let's get a center on that. All right. Now we're going to crank this up, and you're going to see this thing's kind of wobbling all over the place. But now that we have it, I can pretty much stop it at any place. And what I'll do is I'll put a dog on this side and hook it to the chuck, and then it locks in solid. And then I'm going to come in and turn this edge down. Actually, I'm going to spin it around, but I'm going to turn the front edge in, and then we'll have it to the size that we need. And I'll probably do it a fairly tight fit. I mean, barely a press fit, and then set it up on the lathe. We can turn this thing off. Set this thing up on the lathe like this, and the dog will kick right into the edge of the jaws of the chuck, and it'll hold it in place. And then I can kind of move the dog back a little bit, and I'll be able to come in and cut this whole area real square and real clean. So let's turn it around. This is the end that we used last time when we did the welding. You can see one little dingle ball got down into the keyway of the welding, which was quite interesting. So we still also have to come back in and clean up this welding edge a little bit, because I know there's a washer that goes in there, and that'll be we'll need to get just some of the welds back a little bit so that the washer can fit. All right, so we're there. We need a dog. That one's not actually going to fit. Let's put it on hold. We're going to go find a link. Okay, we've got our plug between two centers, and you can see that it'll roll back and forth. And putting it between the two centers gives it total accuracy, total concentric cut. And I could literally flip this, and it'll be just as accurate over here as it is over here, which is what I'm going to do. Once I get this cut, I'm going to press it onto to my housing, this little baby right there, and then flip it, and so I can machine it from over here. So go ahead and notice how far off it is over there, and that's mostly because wherever I ended up cutting my center hole, it was a little bit off, and it really doesn't matter because, hey, I'm going to be going a ways in here. By the time I get into where I want to be, I will have, gotten my surface squared up. You can hear it now. It's just skipping. Tip, 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 tip. I'm going to pretty much want to be the same length as I am right there, maybe just a little bit longer. We'll take it out a 1/4 inch longer. There we go. Give it another 20. Yeah, I think the 20 would be fine. Still skipping just a little bit. But I think this next pass is going to be the one that it'll get it squared up. So we're about 1/2 thousandth large here, and it's driving me crazy. I'm just trying to take off that 1/2 thousandth with a file. Let's see what we've got now. Well, we're down. Let me take off the edge here a little bit. Pull it out and see if we've got it. There it goes. Nice and snug. Alright, so now I'll just press it in, and that'll give us a nice tight fit, and then flip it over and machine it from this side. Except now that I'm looking at it, actually I want to put it in from the other direction, which is, I'm glad I flipped that. So we'll run it in from this direction here. Interestingly enough, the hole is a little out. Huh. Usually manufacturing, they don't do that, but it could have been just a little bit out because we welded it or something like that. So I think what I'm going to do is take it over to the little south bin and pull off, oh, I see, there's a little burr right out there on the edge. Alright, we're going to catch that burr.